My name is Miriam Domain. I am the Senior Email Marketing Strategist at Influence, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Apple's latest update, iOS 18.2, and what that means for email marketers like me and you. So first things first, I do have to give credit to the blog post Hands-On with Apple Intelligence, Inbox Tabs, and Message Summaries for iOS 18.2 by Nicole Merlin on knack.com. That is where I got a lot of this research and also where I got a lot of the images and screenshots that you'll see on these slides. All right, so right off the bat, we're going to be talking about Apple's new categories. These aren't Gmail tabs, they are Apple categories, though they pretty much function the same way. So now automatically messages will be grouped into 4 different categories: primary, transactions, updates, and promotions. So this does mean that your emails have a less likely chance of getting into that primary tab. However, because these operate a little bit differently than Gmail categories, you can still have high priority messages or messages that readers are going to seek out that end up in either that transactions tab or in that updates tab. Promotions is pretty much the same as Gmail's promotions tab, which is going to be a lot of marketing based emails, but people could be looking for those emails too. So while this might mean that your emails are a little less visible, I also think that there is a chance that over time, this could actually help the user experience and help readers get more more conditioned to checking these various tabs rather than only looking at the message in their primary tab. One thing to call out, though, is that if Apple thinks that a message does fall into more than one category, it will be displayed in multiple categories, which can get a little confusing at times, but helps the user experience. And one other thing to note is that this is able to be reversed. So the user reader does have the option to update their settings so that they go back to seeing their emails in list view. So this is going to be the new default, but they can revert back to that old view. Next, we're going to be talking about branded mail icons. These are managed in Apple's Business Connect platform. And if you're familiar with BIMI, they're similar but different. So the nice thing is that it's a far less rigorous process to be able to have a branded mail icon displayed in Apple Mail than it would be to register for BIMI. But it pretty much functions the same way, where you can upload your logo and it'll appear in that inbox next to your message. So this will be displayed both in inbox and in digest view, which is something that I will talk more about in a little bit. And if you do not upload an icon or a logo in branded mail, then they will show kind of a generic icon that may or may not be really relevant to your brand and your business. Ironically, the example that you'll see down below, Apple is the sender that does not yet have a branded mail icon. So they have that generic business icon, whereas Amazon, you can see that Amazon logo. So this is a really great opportunity to increase open rates, engagement, and overall increase brand recognition as well. All right, next, as promised, we're going to be talking about digest view. So if all of the following are true, you can see messages in digest view. Categories have to be enabled, so you can only see these in categories. You can't see them in list mode. You have to be in the transactions, updates, or promotions tab. You won't see it in that primary tab. And group by sender has to be turned on. Now, even though you'll only see digest view if all of those are true, those are all of the default settings. So most people will likely be seeing messages in digest view. And what that is that it'll take all messages from one sender and group them together. So you will only see a preview of the top portion of the email. It's about 350 pixels, but varies by device, of the latest emails from that sender. And while in digest view, readers have the ability to recategorize the sender simply by hitting that 3-dot icon. They can manually choose which category they would like that sender's emails to go into. So this is also a great opportunity to kind of educate your audience about how they can make sure that your emails end up in the primary tab if that they really want to read your emails on a regular basis. They also have the ability to mark all emails as either read or unread, and also archive or delete all of your messages with one single action. So once again, you will see that branded mail icon in the top of digest view, which is another reason why it's a great opportunity to add your branded mail icon and show off your business's logo. So it will go through and show you it'll go through and show you a preview of the top 350 pixels for all of your most recent emails, but they can tap see more to expand an email, and you're able to continuously scroll back and forth through multiple emails at once. So this is a big change in kind of email design. There are a lot of ways that you can optimize your email design to make them more strategic for digest view. So one thing would be to use colored backgrounds on your emails, make the edges very clearly defined so that they know exactly what is the start of the email and the end of the preview. Also, using the same design elements in multiple emails can make things very visually confusing for the reader since they're able to see multiple at once. So one goal is to make the designs cohesive but not repetitive. Um, we also want to pay special attention to the top of that email because that is the preview that readers will see. We want to make sure that we're adding elements that will entice the reader to click, read more, and expand the full email. And we also want to be avoiding lots of small text in the top of our emails, especially text that's smaller than Apple's UI. Again, that can just make things kind of visually confusing or visually overwhelming for the reader and may not give your subject line as much of an opportunity to stand out. Last but certainly not least, we're going to be talking about AI generated message summaries. So one thing to note is that this is only relevant for devices with Apple Intelligence enabled. So that's only going to be kind of the latest versions of Apple devices. I believe iPhone 15 and above. But this will replace your preview text. So summaries will be generated by AI of what your email contains, and that'll replace the preview text for that email. Summaries are created on device, meaning that while it's likely that everyone will summarize the email similarly, they're not going to summarize the same way one reader to the next. It's going to vary device by device. And again, this is able to be turned off in device settings. However, you have to go to device settings. You can't do it within Apple Mail. And as far as we know, it's impossible to influence this summary. So things like adding meta tags with descriptions, using a specific hierarchy of information, including hidden text inside the email, all of these things were shown to be ineffective and kind of influencing how the AI summarizes your email. One other thing to know is that it'll never show your preview text verbatim. So if you are going ahead and adding preview text to an email that you specifically want displayed, if someone has Apple Intelligence turned on and they're using Apple Mail, they will never see that exact message verbatim. It's kind of a bummer. This does mean that we're not able to do as many kind of punny things. You can't start a theme or a joke in the subject line and carry it over to the preview text, but there are also a lot of opportunities that come with this feature as well. One other very important thing to note is that alt text is not taken into account. So in addition to not reading things like meta tag, hidden text, etc., the AI will also not read any alt text and images. So it was already important from a accessibility standpoint to not include super important or crucial information in images, but there used to be the fallback of, okay, you can make sure that you include that image in an alt text. Now it's extremely important not to include any important information solely in images. If there is something that you want to show off in text, in an image, make sure that information is also communicated in the actual text of the email. All right, so main takeaways of kind of how you can move forward, uh, knowing all the things that we know now about iOS 18.2. Because of those AI summaries, preview text may not be as relevant as effective. So now it's more important than ever to focus on your sender name and subject lines, as those are the two things that you're going to have the most control over. Thanks to categories, senders may also see an initial dip in unique view rates for some emails. However, we're hoping that this will also be temporary as users become more conditioned to check those different tabs. Uh, it's important to get set up with branded mail on Apple Business Connect as soon as possible. There's really nothing to stop you from doing it. It's absolutely free. All you have to do is sign up and add your logo. Remember those tips for optimizing your email design for digest view. Focus on the top of your email, avoid small text, use colored backgrounds so it's easy to distinguish from one email and another. And of course, don't repeat the same email design over and over and over. Don't include important information in images. This was already an important tip, but now it's absolutely crucial, as if you include that important information solely in images, the Apple AI is likely not going to pick that up and will not include it in the summary of your email. And also keep your layout and copy as clear as possible to give your content the best chance of being summarized accurately and effectively by Apple's AI. All right. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to Enfluence to see how we can assist you in your sending.